What's up, guys? It's once again mp4podcast.com, and there are a couple things I want to talk about. Again, to the PlayStation 4 and some video game news. But first, I want to talk about Euro Truck Driver in this game. A lot of you guys have asked me questions about it, so I think it'd be a good idea just to talk about this game and why I like it for commentating. Now, I talked about this previously before, but I'm going to tell you about the software I use and how I go about making my videos and so forth. So anyway, the software that I use for screen capturing is a software piece of software called Bandicam. That's Bandicam, Bandicam. What I like about Bandicam is that it can record very small files still in HD. So my settings for Bandicam is I like to record in MPEG-1. Now, there are some drawbacks to MPEG-1 and there are some pluses to MPEG-1. The drawback to it is that you can only render out in Sony Vegas and get the colors right if you render out to WMV. That's the Microsoft video file format, whatever. So if, let's say, you record an MPEG-1 but you encode out to an MP4 file, the colors will be very dark and crushed. Somehow, this is one of the only games that I've seen where it looks still acceptable. Having a hard time talking, but especially when you're playing during the day, but a night scene, I would probably say the colors would probably be too dark, even if you did encode it wrong. But if you encoded it to MPEG-4 and you're driving during the day, you could probably still use the footage. But I would just re-encode it to WMV. So MPEG-1, you encode out to WMV and you're all good to go. Now, if you need to get files out to YouTube a little bit quicker, because uploading can be slow, I use Camtasia Studio, so I'll dump it into Camtasia Studio and then compress the WMV to an MPEG-4 file. Still looks pretty good. You can tell that there's a little bit of a degradation through the second encoding or whatever, but I can get files up to YouTube pretty quickly, and it's still HD. It's just not as good as the previous file. Now, your audio with Bandicam needs to be set to PCM. If you do not set to PCM, Sony Vegas and Adobe Premiere will not be able to read the audio files that are in the AVI. So I guess I'm not an expert on codecs, but Bandicam says it's recording in MPEG-1, but the file says AVI, and I think it's like different wrappers or whatever. But Bandicam MPEG-1. Now, if you want to encode out to MP4, you can record in Bandicam with Motion JPEG, but your files will be much, much, much bigger. And I would say if you're going to do that, maybe get an external hard drive if you're on a laptop, because it will chew up hard drive space if you have a small hard drive. Right now, I'm recording on a USB stick and with MPEG-1, and it's good enough for me. Also, what I do is I record, the Bandicam will record my commentating in one track and the gameplay on another track, but it's all contained inside the AVI file. That's what I really, really like about Bandicam. I don't have to take, the video file and then, sync it up in post or anything like that. It's all good to go. So let me pull over and get some gasoline right over here. And I'm going to have to back up. I should have tried to brake a little sooner. Oh, come on. I got an fence. Okay, let's... Alright. So let's start this up. And then go back on the road. And like I said, I recorded in 2 different tracks. And I just dump it into Sony Vegas. Remember, you need to record the audio as PCM. If you don't record the audio in PCM, Sony Vegas and Adobe Premiere will not recognize the audio file. You can record your audio when you're talking, commentating in your game audio in one track, but you can't fix the levels in post. So I guess that's kind of good if you just want to upload to YouTube and be done with it. But I put in Sony Vegas so I can check the levels and so on. Alright, now we're going to talk about the PlayStation 4. I'm not going to go around the specs. There's been other videos, people talking about it. If you want to look at a video that's really good about it, probably check out Woody's Gamertag. He did a video on it. What do I think about the PS4? I'm real happy that they're going with x86 architecture. It's going to be really easy to program for. A lot of people are very familiar with x86 architecture. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, there's not going to be any difference between the ports anymore. That's not completely true. There's different operating systems, and some people, don't like certain operating systems programming on this platform or whatever. So, Mac and PC, Windows games are not equal. When Windows games get ported to Mac, a lot of times the Windows versions are better. There's more frames per second. I'm not bashing on Mac. I'm just saying that, if a game, like Crisis 3 or whatever, it's made for Windows first, or whatever game it is, like Euro Truck Driver, and it gets ported to Mac, it's going to be a port of the Windows code converted over to Mac code. It's not designed for the OS. So you have hardware that's native, and then the OS that is native. But this is going to still be really, really good. And I need to slow down. Really good, because it is going to make it easier. Don't listen to anybody else if they're saying, well, but it's going to make it easier to do ports, and ports will probably be much better. So it is definitely a good thing. It seems that the Sony Online is going to be very similar to all the Xbox features that we have right now in the 360. They didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming that they're going to have like chat invites, cross chat, all this other stuff, invites from any game. So if they can do that for free, it's going to be really hard to, in some ways, to convince someone to maybe get an Xbox 720, because it's $50 for live. I think the key to Microsoft still selling the Xbox is people who are, really like Xbox. They're probably going to have a real preference with the controller. I personally prefer the Xbox 360 controller over the PlayStation controller. It feels right in my hands, and just going with that alone, I can see myself saying, well, I'm having more fun on Xbox, so I can, I'm not happy about it, but I'm gonna have to just suck it up and pay Microsoft the $50. Don't get me wrong, the PS3 controller is good. I just prefer the stick locations, on the Xbox, but I do prefer fighting games on the PS3 when I need to use the D-pad. So that said, it's going to be a really, really close race, and it's going to be very interesting. Now, a lot of people have said, the PS4 won't play used games, and now what they're saying, oh, it will, blah blah blah. That's half true. From what I saw, that one of the reporters asked Sony about used games, and basically what Sony said was, we will not implement blocking used games, but third parties can. Okay, that means if EA wanted to block Battlefield 4, okay, they can do that on the PS4. But Sony themselves, the titles that Sony puts out themselves, they're not going to block used games at all. So what this does is, this, Sony wipes their hands clean, and, so if it happens, all the hate goes to other companies such as EA or whatever. I also think that the online pass has been pretty much a pretty big failure when it comes to used games and so on. A lot of people will, why not just let them buy Battlefield, the used copy, just let them see if they like it. and you know the price is cheap or whatever, you know, if I like it, I'll buy it. Maybe, you know, it'll get me into the series, so when the next one comes out, oh, I'm gonna buy it. That's the way Call of Duty players are. They just go out and buy it and buy it. They always buying Call of Duty. So maybe they picked up you know, Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 1. They liked it. They bought it cheap when it was used, and now they got into the series, and now they bought Black Ops 2 new. So it's like, you know, it catches people into the series. Where if you buy a used Battlefield, you have to buy an $8 online pass. So in a lot of cases, it's still better just to buy new anyway with online passes. And Microsoft is really smart. They haven't put an online pass in the Halo series as all, but Sony is doing that. They even did it with Resistance and Uncharted, which I think was a bad move. So, you know, it seems really interesting what's going to be going on with these new consoles. Now, a lot of people have been saying that the new consoles aren't really going to be an upgrade, and I'm going to say yes and no. As of right now, I think we have a lot of polygons being pushed through the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But where I see them lacking the most is in lighting and texture detail. Now, there was an old interview with one of the creators of the original team of Infinity Wars. I know there's two guys who started Infinity Ward, and they were talking about Modern Warfare when the first Modern Warfare came out, and they were talking about Call of Duty 2. Now, Call of Duty 2 is the first Call of Duty that came to Xbox 360, and they said, and let me just get some more gas. I need to start slowing down. But Modern Warfare, right, looks 10 times better than Call of Duty 2. But get this, Call of Duty 2 has more polygons. Okay, Modern Warfare has less polygons, but there's more texture detail in Modern Warfare. So they developed better texture technology, and you know, they were talking about the guys, their legs, like the boots, the details, like you can see the strings in their shoes, you know, the ruffles in their pants and stuff like that. Where you know, Call of Duty 2 is, you know, it's more polygons and the textures aren't as good, so they look a little bit more blocky. But that's basically the idea of, you know, advancing technology when it comes to video game, is coming up with software tricks to push the hardware or give an illusion of something. Okay, and developers have been really good about that over the years, and coming up with tricks is like, hey, there's a limitation in this hardware over here, but I got this idea where we can do this and we can still get the same effect. So that looks pretty cool. Also, there is a couple of news stories I do want to talk about, and let me just pull out my phone, because okay, I'm just going to run through these really quick. Uncharted 3 multiplayer is rumored to go free to play, so I'm pretty happy about this. You know, so if you don't have Uncharted, you'll be able to play the multiplayer for free. And what else are we talking about? Kingdom Hearts will get a 1.5 HD remix. That's kind of cool. Left 4 Dead Helm's Deep Reborn is on the official servers. That's pretty cool. And free-to-play Landscape Command & Conquer. I'm just going through these really quickly. We're going to get a Walking Dead Season 2, the video game that was real popular on Xbox, PS3, and PC. Plants vs. Zombies is going to be free, or it is free right now, whatever. And oops, and gotta turn on my wipers. And what else do we got? Diablo 3 it will be on the PS3 and PS4, and will allow offline play. Now, we know about the biggest problem with Diablo was that you had to be online all the time. I really thought this was horrible what they did PC gaming. PC gaming, if you're playing a single player game, there's no need for your PC to be online. And I need to slow down. Forcing people to always be online is a pain in the ass. There are times when your internet goes down. There are times when people are in school, and maybe they're in the library, or maybe they're at a coffee shop or whatever. They want to pull out their laptop, play whatever. Maybe they don't have some Wi-Fi, or they don't want to use their data plan. Let them play the game. Now let me just say this to all the dicks out there who are trying to block, people from playing games, and they have all this shit ass, DRM. I'll tell you right now, the Batman game that's on Steam, you have the Steam DRM, you have the Windows Live DRM, you have the secured ROM DRM. I have the game. It's a pain in the ass. It's a great game, but I hate the DRM. These games get cracked all the time. So what's the point? People will buy your games if they want to support you, if they do like you. All my games on Steam, I bought them. How the hell you even get cracked games on Steam? I have no idea. And why do I like Steam? Because it does all my updates for me. I don't have to worry about anything when Steam takes care of everything. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be making more videos, back on track and so on. So once again, guys, take it easy. New to my channel, please subscribe. Always making new videos all the time. Take it easy and have a good one, guys. I'm out. Bye.